trillions could flow through cryptos like Stellar XLM, and you and I, your award-winning Stellar XLM crypto developer, could benefit. But how? Yes, people, we know this, we understand. It's all about the fundamental facts of the matter. And really, what we need to do today is keep an eye on what's going on in the news, because actually, we're at that point in this crypto market, especially where Bitcoin is concerned, where we're hitting those macro levels. We've hit those macro levels. So we could be seeing some sort of turnaround. And, macro cycles are fundamentally important to the crypto market, both technically and fundamentally. And really, we need to keep an eye on the news. And that's ultimately what this channel is about, right? Zioncoin's crypto news. So I think it's high time now that we actually start paying more attention to the news. So really, what I want to do is talk about, obviously Stellar, but what is happening in the news. So let's think about today's news. Nigeria, court orders Binance to replenish data of all Nigerians trading on its platform, a report says. So if you haven't heard, Nigeria aren't very happy with Binance, and they want all the information that Binance has on its citizens, ultimately, which I think, could be important for their, their objectives in terms of crypto. Because if they're forming a CBDC, they want to know how much information Binance has on its actual citizens, who's involved, and also, more to the point, crime. Because we know that Nigeria's Economy and Financial Crimes Commission need that information to see who's moving what funds where. FTX users describe emotional toil from bankruptcy in letter to judge ahead of Sam Bankman-Fried's sentencing. The Department of Justice filed dozens of victim impact statements from FTX creditors Monday ahead of Bankman-Fried sentencing next week. These victims hail from around the world, with the letters describing their FTX holdings and the effects FTX bankruptcy has had on their lives. And you can imagine it's like Mount Gox all over again. Really, I can't stress to you, if you're going to hold assets on an exchange or outside of your custody, don't have your vast value doing that. You should really be using cold storage or using your own mind there to store your keys, pretty much like a phone number like we used to do in the old days. In any case, I digress. Bitcoin flash crash to 8.9k. Can you imagine that? 8.9k from 72 to 8.9k. Large sell orders worth 55.9 million drove Bitcoin's price down to 8.9 on BitMEX. And we didn't see that on Binance, Poloniex or Coinbase. It was really more the BitMEX exchange that got that. But obviously, the overnight crash was shortly lived. Bitcoin maintains its 65k as GBTC outflows hit highest levels ever. The SEC, Security Exchange Commission, committed gross abuse of powers in suit against crypto firm. Federal judge rules. SEC at it again, really hitting hard on these crypto firms. And, they keep going for it and they keep getting punished. I really believe that they're just going to, just take as many as the court as they can. And if they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. That's their mandate, unfortunately. But really, a federal judge ruled that the US Securities and Exchange Commission must pay legal costs for Debtbox, a Utah-based crypto company. The SEC brought a lawsuit against, finding that the regulator had committed gross abuse of powers in their effort to secure a temporary restraining order. Not uncommon for the SEC, and this can't go on, surely. This can't go on. I don't just believe that it's, the SEC chair. I believe it's just the culture of the SEC. Because for decades now, they've been seen to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it's a case of, when is it going to stop, really? Now, this is some news. Fidelity adds stake into ETH ETF application, sending Lido up 9%. And that was short-lived, obviously, because, after that flash crash from BitMEX, we saw those shorts being taken in. We saw Bitcoin's price go from 68k down to 65, which is what's 65 now, and Ethereum from around 3.5 to 3.4, or actually now at 3.3. So we know that's come back down. Is toxic Bitcoin maximalism getting less toxic? That makes sense, because the focus now has to be on smart contracts, right? Real world application. As Bitcoin gets Wall Street approval and developers build new applications on the network, Bitcoiners are ditching some of their previous siege mentality. And here's some news. Tether's USDC gets delisted on crypto exchange OKX for EU users. And that could be because, the EU really want to see more from, Circle, from Coinbase. And I think the USDC version, EURC, is what they're going to be wanting. The action may overshadow regulatory restrictions in the region for the largest stablecoin by market capitalization and trading volumes, as upcoming EU rules will require stablecoin issuers to be licensed electronic money institutions, which I believe Circle is. And Coinbase may be, or whatever. That consortium may have that corner there, if you like. FTX claims holders Attesta takes creditor to court over alleged seller's remorse. London-based investment firm Attesta Capital, a top holder of FTX bankruptcy claims, has filed suit against an FTX creditor who allegedly promised to sell the firm to FTX accounts, only to back out the deal once the value of its claims skyrocketed. Fidelity Bitcoin Fund becomes 5th most popular of all ETFs in 2024. Bitcoin Layer 2s are poised to break out, Stacks creditor Munib Ali says. Bitcoin is not getting to change much, says Ali. Layer 2s are innovative and open to market rapid changes. After a while, it becomes part of their culture. Bitcoin's ETFs hot start seems largely driven by retail investors. Data shows that the average trader size for the biggest spot Bitcoin ETF suggests that demand is largely coming from retail investors. Now, some may say that no, this is just institutions buying up, not so much retail. Who's going to be buying the ETFs? Yes, institutions, but you will get retail buyers now. They're going to want this asset in their pension plans. This is what the ETFs are all about, right? Having that vehicle to be able to do that, to de-risk, right? They don't have to hold it, they don't have to be responsible for it. It could be insured and so on and so forth. Yeah, this is makes sense that retail investors will want that, but it really does just depend on how well a job, these Wall Street financial advisors are doing in that scheme of things. Bitcoin correction may continue if ETF inflows disappoint in next few days. 10x researchers proclaim Bitcoin ETF inflows on Monday and Tuesday will be the real test for what next. The largest crypto asset price, Marcus Phelan wrote. Phelan? Is it Phelan? Yeah, Marcus Phelan wrote. That's the news for today. And really, what are we seeing the markets doing at the moment? We're seeing Bitcoin at 65,000. It's holding that price, but we really want to see for Bitcoin, if this bullish momentum is going to continue, we want to see Bitcoin closing above 68,000 for the week. Preferably 71,000. We're seeing Ethereum at $3,300. We're seeing Solana come down now, which was at $204, is now at $185. And, this is starting to sell off. But what's interesting is we're seeing XRP holding that 60 cents. And if you didn't know, if you're not on Twitter, we're seeing Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO, at this blockchain summit 2024, or crypto summit 2024, wearing a Stellar lanyard. And, it's quite ironic, really. But, this is a case that Stellar's really an emerald participator, whereas I think XRP is like one of those metals. Is it platinum? In any case, what we're seeing here on Twitter quite clearly is that Stellar is the asset for RWA, real world application, real world use, and we're seeing more and more bonds, more and more securities being tokenized with the Stellar blockchain. And this is key really to Stellar's success. But what the problem is we're seeing XRP here at position 7. Okay, and we know that AMM is potentially coming to XRP, but we're seeing Stellar XLM at position 37 on the Zioncoin's market cap listing. You got to think to yourself, what is going on? The other thing is Stellar's price again is dipping, but you have to understand what and why this is. Development costs money, and the way Stellar are getting their money, their cash, their fiat money, is to sell the digital asset, right? This may take some time to turn around. Whilst there is lots of development happening now, in the future, these applications are going to be used more and more. And Stellar's aim for the most efficient application, the most efficient programming language for these applications, for these smart contracts, which is Rust, the Soroban Rust smart contract, or what I like to call it, the SVM, Soroban Virtual Machine, right? And we know that really Solana's done really well, because Solana, from what I understand, uses the same programming language, Rust. And Rust is an extremely efficient programming language. And it's actually the better programming language for things like AI, for things like large learning applications, large learning models. And so we need to think about that. We need to consider why the price is where it is, why Stellar's holding this very low position. Is it an opportunity or is it not? I know a lot of investors are thinking, no, we've seen this before, we've seen the previous cycle and it's not done anything. That's fine. In time, it may do so, but I know a lot of investment is being pumped into Stellar, a lot of thought, and this could be a big thing. And I'd be surprised if AI doesn't come into Stellar, whether it's brought about in by the core internal community as like a side chain or something like that, or something else, or one of the developers. I mean, we've just heard Elon Musk is going to open source his AI model, which is massive opportunity, right? In any case, I think if Bitcoin does not close out above its all-time highs weekly for the weekly candle at about 72k, we need to be thinking about this macro cycle, because actually we're at the peak of this macro cycle, and you've got these presidential elections happening, stock markets are at their all-time highs, Bitcoin's at near its all-time high. Is it a case of we seeing new all-time highs? We've seen a new all-time high for Bitcoin, but it's not a clear 80, 100k, 120k. We've got, analysts out there that are telling us, oh yeah, Bitcoin is going to break up, is going to snap to 85k, and then it's going to snap to 120k. It really needs to prove itself at the moment. This could just be because of the influx of the ETFs, and yes, they are popular, and there is massive demand for it at this point in time. But macro implications, the macro effect, the 10-year yield can weigh in to the stock markets, weigh in to Bitcoin and really have that massive effect in driving down the prices. And it only takes, you know, a couple of sessions of shorts to deter investors from this whole investment opportunity. But as I say, just be cautious. It might be time to take some profits from, you know, the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the Solanas that are up there at or near their all-time highs, and potentially think about maybe, you know, shoving some of that cash, shoving some of that fiat into things like that are way further down on the list. Like you've got the Polkadots, you've got the link chains, even Polygon, I believe. Like we've seen AI do extremely well. Again, it might be time to sort of, you know, consider maybe taking some profits from that, and really look at other projects that, you know, have a lot of development activity on them. I think Atmos is one of them. There's so many of them really, you know, that are still quite low. Even Bitcoin Cash is really quite low. I mean, if you manage to buy some of that at the bottom, then, you know, you're up 5x on that, 2x, something like that. In any case, I'm Nathan, aka Nathan of Zion. Like and subscribe. Check out the next video. Until Moon, have a great day. Take care now.